I'm Eleni Polakanyadu, and thank you very much for visiting my campaign. I'm going to tell you today why you should help me fund the project Inner Weather. Inner Weather is an opportunity to explore the human life. It's an opportunity to make connections, to understand the different stories, to understand the pathways, to connect with people that you don't know, people across the globe, to read a story, to listen to a story, to watch a story, and understand somebody else on a deeper level than you would expect.
Yesterday, I read an article about a man's encounter with a serial killer, a guy 30 years ago who preyed upon hitchhikers in California. And the article really brought me up short because 30 years ago, I was hitchhiking in California and doing a lot of traveling up and down the West Coast. And it was in precisely the region where this man, who was called the Freeway Killer, was active. And so I got to thinking about that, and I actually remembered probably the worst encounter I ever had hitchhiking, in which a man, very much like this serial killer, kind of drew me in. I was just 18 years old, and he drew me in very slowly. He was, he was very interesting, very smart, and we were having this sort of phenomenal conversation as we traveled together in his car, and then eventually sort of slowly introduced the idea of sex between men, to the point where, even to my innocent 18-year-old self, I finally figured out, he was propositioning me. And at that point, I demanded to get out of the car, and he wouldn't let me out. He just kept going down the highway. And what I finally did was really confront him. I demanded to be left off at an exit that was coming up, and as we got closer to the exit, I kept repeating my demand, and he kept just ignoring it and just saying, no, I'm going to keep driving. And one of the things that occurs to me now, all these years later, in potentially a very dangerous situation, I have no idea the real risk I was at with this particular guy, but just kind of my own polite middle-class upbringing really stood in the way of me defending myself, because I was invariably polite and respectful, in any situation where I was with an older man or just any person in general. And really, I wasn't conscious of it at the time, but in retrospect, I really know that I was frozen for a good amount of time. I was kind of rendered helpless by this sort of never having had any experience of actually having to defend myself.
I don't want to only hear my voice. I want to hear other voices. I want to hear other stories, other people. Because everybody gets angry. Everybody deals with loss. At some point, everybody has to deal with forgiveness. And sometimes it's really helpful to listen to somebody else's story because it gives you ideas or it points out things that perhaps you've missed. I truly believe that nobody has lived a perfect life. Nobody has gone through years of their life without experiencing something negative, without having doubts about a person, about life, their career, anything about themselves. But we all keep going. And I just want to find this inner strength, this inner reflection, this person that isn't advertised every day within other people, but exists.